Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about my reading year of 2021 and the goals for 2022. So 2021 went extremely well reading wise. I beat my reading goal down in the mud, I was going to say. That sounded very dramatic, but you got my point. So basically, in the beginning of 2021, I said I was going to read less because I had just read 300 books in 2020 and I was going to focus on like big books instead. That meant in my head that I would read less amount of books because I would use a longer time on books because they were big. Like, and big books, I mean out of fantasy, which was like my main goal throughout the year. I think I didn't read all the series I wanted, but I definitely had it in focus the whole time, and I think that helped a lot getting through some of them. My main thing was that I wanted to read Stormlight Archive, and I did read all the books in that series, for example, and I did read like a lot more other series that I started and finished and continued some others, and I had it in mind the whole time. It was some ones that I didn't read out of fantasy at all for like a specific like readathons and stuff. That happens. But like, I feel like I kept it in mind the whole way, even though I didn't read all the series on my list because it was a lot there, so yeah. But I ended up reading much more than like what was the plans. I had my Goodreads goal on 100 books, and I would have been happy if I read 100 books at that time, but then I ended on 307 instead, which is not at all, you know, two of the same numbers. In 2020 it was my goal to read 300 books, and I struggled like for months catching up and reaching that goal because I had some periods where I didn't read as much as I should have to be like able to go through it, what's I gonna say, like very systematically. Some months I had to read a lot to catch up, while this year I didn't try for 300 books at all. It just like kind of happened. Like there were some months I had really huge TBRs, for example for readathons, and I just read a lot because I changed out my daily goals, and that ended up being a lot of reading and some stress around it too, which I will try to avoid this year. But it was all just like not planned at all that I read 300 books. And it was even more, by the way, because last year, in 2020, not last year anymore, it was 303 books, and this year was 307, so I actually read more. And I ended up on 100,162 pages. But I'm pretty sure I read more pages this year, or last year, sorry, than I read in 2020, where my goal was to read a lot. I don't know, like it was more pages and more books, but I think it's because, you know, the books were thicker. The reason I ended up doing so much was really because I realized if I was reading 100 pages each day, which is like usually my goal, I would use, like, if a book was 1,000 pages, I would use 10 days on that book, which means like there was only so many other days left in a month where I had to read like other things. Or if I was reading more than one huge book, I would use maybe like 20 days on it, or like maybe not that much, but you get the point. And I was just like, oh, there's so little other days left, so I upped my goal to 200 pages instead of 100 pages each day, which was granted okay the days I read like contemporary or YA fantasy. Big fantasy took much longer time, which means I was usually behind on this goal and had to like spend like a whole day sometimes catching up. I don't know what I was doing, okay? It also turned out if a book was 300 pages long, I didn't want to read like 200 pages of that and then like have 100 pages left over. So I just ended up reading the whole book, which again took even more time. This worked fine, for example, if I was going to work, because I read a lot of work, that was okay. But at home, I didn't always feel like reading 300 pages because then usually I want to do other stuff. And also, by the way, if it was like 358 pages, I usually count that as 300, so then I read the whole thing again. And if a book was 500 pages, I read 250 for 2 days. Yes, I am signing off myself. It became a lot sometimes. I don't know why I was doing the system, but doing the system in the months I did it, I just looked at like, you know, my reading stats, and I was reading so much, and I was like, holy shit, I'm reading a lot. And this is sometimes like, I could do this for specific months or weeks where I'm doing like, you know, a challenge or something. I think that would be fine, but I'm not gonna have interpreted, that was a sentence, 200 pages every day. That's just too much. Unless I want to try hard really hard, I could do it, but like I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna like put it out of my mind, even though like I sometimes still do it. But yeah, as I said, this year is 100 pages again. That was what I said last year, but it is. And I have exceptions this time. So like if I'm doing sprints, of course I can read it on 100 pages. And if it's like readathons, like if it's a week-long readathon and I have to read 7 books, Obviously I can't read 100 pages each day, depending on the book of course, then I will read more. And then of course when I work, because then I just sit there for like 5 hours, and then if I read 100 pages I will be done like within the first hour, and I don't have anything to do, so I'm probably gonna read more there. And yeah, that's really my goal. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna put my Goodreads challenge on 200 books, because I know we'll reach that anyway, because I know I will like read averagely around like 15 books a month. That sounds maybe a lot but I really had several months last year where I read around 30 books a month, so it's like half. So that's like, I already feel chill inside just thinking about it, because it was stressful sometimes. I am proud of myself for reading that much and being able to read that much, and I had a lot of enjoyment, and I can look back on it and be like, how did I do that? It's not something I prefer to have on me all the time, just because this is the year for me to do other stuff. And by other stuff I mean I do have other interests than books sometimes. Like, books is my main interest and I love it, but I do also want to be able to have that space to do other things. So like for example, game. Last year I gamed less and less, I think, because I was just like, oh, I have to read, and I don't mind reading and choosing reading over games. Like, I do that a lot and I don't mind it, but I feel like when I take away the pressure of reading 30 books, not that that was my goal even, but like it just happened, I was like, oh, I can actually game today and I don't feel like that pressure, for example. And I think that's nice, and I want to like game more again, because I used to do that a lot before, but like have that balance where I don't game too much or read too much. And I want to again try to get my driver's license. This was my goal for last year, but then I stopped, so I would try to do it for this year, but it's also okay if I don't do it, but I would try to start again. It's really hard in Norway, and like thinking about starting it, it's like effort inside of me and I don't want to think about it, but I'm gonna try. And then I want to journal more, because I started journaling last year, but I only did it for like when I had to do my monthly sprints. But I want to do it like outside that as well, because I have other journals I want to make, but I never made time for that, because I was literally like having to read the last days of the month instead of like actually journal, etc., because I was like, you know, behind sometimes. And I just want to journal more and start like the journals I plan for like a year now, and I feel like really more comfortable in my journaling to do that. So I want to be able to do that, and it takes a lot of time. And I want to like do other things, like watch more shows, because that's also been a lot of I still watch things, but I want to watch more things. And like puzzle again maybe, and then maybe try to work out. I did that for like 2 months I think last year, and then I stopped because I was like, this sucks. I'll try it again, but that's really because I want to be able to walk up a hill without dying. That's like the only reason I want to work out, because I want to have some strength in my body, so I don't feel like I'm dying when I walk. And I try to maybe study some Japanese again, because I really haven't touched Japanese since I came home from Japan in 2020, and I feel like I need to fresh it up, and I want to be able to like, you know, actually know the language for future dreams maybe. So I think I will like try to at least work with it once a week. I think that sounds little, but like that's better than, you know, not doing it. But these are like all small goals. This is like, if I don't watch series for a week, it doesn't really matter. And if like I drop something out for like when I'm busy, etc., it doesn't matter in the end. These are just things and wishes I want to do more. But there's one goal I have that's like, I want to do this like outside the reading, which I know I will do anyway, because I'm in such a good place where I know I'll read anyway. Reading slumps can't get me. I say that now, you know what's gonna happen. But either way, my like main goal, my big goal that like is outside all this, is to write. I've been putting this on hold for a few years. I've been writing here and there. Back in the day. That sounds weird. I used to write a lot more, but this year I want to have a goal. And like, this is not to write like, I don't know how to say it, like it's not to write like a book, like I'm gonna finish this book. I just want to like write anything and just like see where it takes me. I have some ideas. I'm not gonna talk about it, but I have some ideas just to write something, just to get something down on the paper, just to see how it is to make a story. And of course, like, you know, I have plans to write a book, and I know what that book is gonna be. You know, I'm co-authoring with my best friend, but it's not time to write that book yet. I think this is just me to like write something, and that sounds really vague, but I'm gonna like have a word goal, and I'm aiming for 50,000 words written. It could be different projects, but most likely I'm gonna keep it to one project I have in mind, or two, I guess. And within that, write 50,000 words. If it's not finished, then it's fine, but I just want to write that for the whole year, not for like, yeah. And I think I can do it, because like when I write, I can write a lot in one go. I usually can write like, you know, several thousand words if I just sit down and do it. And I think I can do this. And that's my like main big goal after reading and driver's license, I guess. And all the other things are just wishes. And that's okay. That was a lot of life goals, I think, for this year. But I think like speaking them out loud makes them more come true in my head. But for reading, I don't have like anything specific this year like I did like with Out of Fantasy. The only thing I want to do is like finish Rick Riordan books. And then I want to finish the series I picked out for series I finished. And then just read whatever my hearts take me. Maybe like participate in more smaller readathons, like for a week or something. And then I want to do some more like themed reading vlogs for my channel. Like maybe reading one specific popular book or like a series or something. Or like theme it after a certain thing and then like read loads in like a short amount of time and post a vlog about it. Because I don't think I post enough reading vlogs and I want to do more of them. So I have that in mind going forward. And we will see how it goes for my channel. But yeah, I think that's basically it. It's like nothing like very specific and hardcore. But now you got my whole life. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I really don't have more to say, so we're gonna leave. Leave the purple heart emoji down below if you enjoyed this. You will see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.